RDMS.
Oh, so Reynoso, that's a sick name, man.
Bro, I appreciate that.
Went from watching in the stands and watching guys like you and the guys that were like from a generation before me.
Whenever I do fight again, I need Christian Reynoso there on commentary. Otherwise, I'm not doing it.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Reynoso Noso. Christian here. Little hiatus, been a little busy last couple weeks calling some big fights, and today I get to talk to somebody that was fighting on one of those huge cards that I had the pleasure of being on the mic for. So joining me today, I have one of New Mexico's top welterweights, along with being their #2 pound-for-pound mixed martial artist. Back at APFC 18, he picked up a Submission of the Year candidate in just a little over a week ago. He was crowned the new APFC 170-pound champion. So joining me today, the newly minted APFC Welterweight Champion of the World, none other than Jalin, the Gentleman Fuller. Jalin, thank you for joining me, my friend.
It is my absolute pleasure. I don't think I'll ever get an intro quite that strong again in my life. So I'm loving it. I'm so happy to be here.
You're a humble man because given your trajectory, you may be getting an introduction that'll exceed that in bounds by some of the best in the world. Who knows? Maybe Bruce Buffer in the future. Only time will tell. But one thing at a time. I mean, Jalin the Gentleman sounds good, but I think it's fair to say Jalin the Champ sounds great. So how does it feel to be the new APFC champion, my friend?
Honestly, it feels amazing. APFC, in my opinion, with all the other promotions that are out there, I'd say APFC is probably tied up now with LFA for top 4, I would say. Just for the level of fights that they put on. I know they're much newer. This is their 21st show that they've had, but they're already breaking ground in India. They're international promotion already. So I have them marked up there pretty high, right alongside the LFA. So to win the belt for them, I'm like, that's a legitimate title. So I'm really feeling that.
Yeah, there aren't quite many springboards in mixed martial arts to the big show that are going to resonate quite like the LFA or APFC, right? And you said it yourself, just in 21 shows, making it very clear that this is a new potential platform to get to the next level. Let's talk about that fight, and I'm going to start talking about that fight with a little clip. Here's a little something. Hopefully you can hear it okay. And you tell me if you know. Well, it's you talking, and I want you to tell me about this clip, all right? So let's play it.
Hurt him. They can take that long, far shot that he likes to take from distance. Now I'm going to snatch up that ninja choke most likely and they can monitor the one.
Oh my God.
All right, so did you hear that? And that was the audio from the weigh-ins where myself and David Evans and Michael Hansen sat down and chatted to you the day before the fight. I don't know how that audio came across, but why don't you tell me what that was right there?
That was crystal clear, and that was me calling my shot. That fight played out exactly like I said it would play out. Stabbing him from range. As soon as I heard his reaction to the first 2 teeps that sunk in, and then he caught that quick check hook, almost like that jab check hook variant. After he tried to press me afterwards, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is gonna go exactly how I called it. Left hand right down the middle. Saw the eyes roll back, and that's when I knew the blitz was coming. I was like, he's not staying out here with me anymore. He's going to shoot from range. Caught that really nice, loud check hook. Going back and playing that audio, I was like, damn, that cracked. And I knew it was the time to hit that choke because when he got in on the double and tried to swap to the single, I was like, there's something about it that I just don't respect. And so instead of sticking with the wizard and defending, I decided to just say, no, I'll give him the leg lift, scoot the hips back to create the space that I need, and snatch up that ninja choke all day.
Yeah, of course, you're talking about your title-winning effort from APFC 21, your big win over Mark Coker. So obviously you didn't hear me talking to Mark Coker beforehand. He was laser focused. He really thought he had what it was going to take to kind of dismantle, right, the gentleman. But I'll talking about thinking you have what it takes to dismantle somebody. The way you laid out the finish for us at the weigh-ins, it was clear that you not only saw something, you exactly said what would happen, right? He was likely to rush in and leave that neck out. But you were manifesting your destiny. You were very clearly seeing something long before it happened. Let's talk about your ability to do that. And I think that goes a lot farther than just, I got a good ninja choke and I can get it done.
And it's like you said, we're manifesting. Like my entire team, we're calling our shot. My team is a big film study team. Like John Dodson is very big on it. Everyone thinks he's just this high energy ball of sugar and never say die. Now he's methodical, and that pans out well with my style because I'm very methodical myself. I like a step by step process from beginning to end, and I get things down to where my teammates understand that they need to be studying this dude's footage too. They need to be swinging the way that he swings. They need to be shooting from the range that he shoots at. We like it down to a T. And that's all a part of that manifestation because, luck is when preparation meets that preparedness, like that, you create that. There is no luck. If you come and that moment comes to you and you've already laid out the preparation for it, that's how you create those big moments. And that's really all that we did. Just obsessively studied this man. I like to know what every bat step, every twitch, every feint. I want to know your next 5 steps after that. I want that. I need that. And if I have a time to study you, if there's 5 to 6 weeks of a camp, I'm going to have you pegged. I'm going to have you pegged like 100%. I'm going to know every breath that you take, every position change, every step forward. I know what it all means. And I think that's one of my most dangerous factors when it comes to me as a mixed martial artist.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and talk about that. The ability to stay prepared, so when those opportunities do arise, that you're completely ready to fire. That seems to be. My guess is that needed to be a necessity for you. Of your 14 pro fights, obviously you're on a 2-fight win streak at the APFC, but before that you had 10 fights for the LFA. So, like we already touched upon before, APFC, LFA, these are the highest level shows, right underneath the biggest of shows, that the UFCs, the PFLs, the One Fighting Championships. Most people have to rattle off a lot of wins or do a lot to garner the attention of an Ed Soares to get to the LFA, to make these opportunities to these big stages happen. Let's talk about how that happened for you to be on that big stage so early in your career, and what it was like, navigating that sort of environment early on in your career.
The biggest thing, because we started off, like you said, in the LFA. Like that was my beginning stages. And that was fresh off of the LFA, RFA merger. I think my first LFA card was LFA 51, I believe. And it was against Andrew Lip. And I was like, everyone who I fight with the LFA is going to be a dog. They're all going to have way more experience than I am. But I asked my management team for this. I was like, hey, I don't want to mess around and collect a record that's got dudes who are 0-7, 2-7, 4-9, just to get to 5-0 or whatever I need to do. I want to know if I can actually do this. Give me the dogs. Give me the undefeated guys. Most people are like, hey, maybe you feel it out and wait for that first big test. And I was like, no, I want to know right now if I'm wasting my time or not. Am I that guy or not? And I was able to find out very quickly, like, hey, I can handle these guys. I can hang with these guys. I've had, in my opinion, one fight where I got my ass kicked. And that's it. In my opinion, I've only got that one. And that was simply not being prepared for my opponent. And other than that, I feel like I've always been able to answer the call with these higher tier opponents. And even in a loss, show them, hey, you beat me. I'm still better than you. And people saw that I was still better than you.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said. Anyone that's not a casual, take a look at your record and be like, okay, these losses come to oh, I know these names. These guys are already in the UFC. These are already guys that were, they were on that trajectory, and you just happen to come across them. And like you said, on that night, they got the nod potentially, or on that night, they had their moment. But it's been very clear that from the early onset, the upper echelon is where you belong. Now, let's talk about what it means to have you mentioned John already. I know that when I walked in to the Isleta over the weekend and I saw a lot, seeing John Dodson, it made me kind of, because that is legit. That's an OG. That's, during the broadcast, I called him, New Mexico MMA royalty, but it's much bigger than that. Here's a guy that was a real trailblazer for the lighter weight classes in a time when there was no real hope for the lighter weight classes. You're somebody that did it because they loved it and they believed in it, right? And now you have somebody like that championing you and all these guys that nobody's villain. Let's talk a little bit more, if you don't mind, about having John in your corner for these big moments and being part of his crop of, nobody's villain fighters right now that are on that front line.
Of course, that would be my dang pleasure. To start, having him in my corner has done wonders for me. He changed my whole fight style. He noticed, he said, you're getting to this point, and it was right after my fight with Scott Wirtz, where I landed another ninja choke finish, but it's the one where the referee missed the call. And I was just choking that dude, and he was limp for like 30 seconds in that choke. And John pointed out to me, he's like, ever since that fight, he's like, you just touch people now. You're not trying to hurt anyone anymore. And he's like, but these dudes who you're fighting, that's the difference. That's the takeaway, is they're trying to hurt you and you're just trying to win. And he was like, we need to take the time to figure out whatever made you make this change. If you need to speak to somebody and get help, we are going to do that. But on my end, he's like, I'm going to get you violent again. I'm going to get you mean again. And honestly, it was a year and a half of just work, of putting in that real effort in getting back to that guy with all the new skill set and abilities that I have. And I think that he's done amazing at getting me to become an entirely new fighter. My other head coach, Frank Gomez, who was my head coach before our gym closed down, Duke City MMA, he said it to me after this last fight. He's like, the energy that you bring into the fight now is completely different. You're a completely different guy. I recognize you, but I don't recognize the energy that steps into the cage anymore. Like, you're still that calm, cool, collected, step-by-step guy, but you're in everyone's face a whole lot more, and that aggression is back. And I can say honestly that I wouldn't be there without the work John put in with me. And in that regard, like the entire Nobody's Villain team, just having all these guys, the best way I can describe it is John somehow manages to fulfill everyone's needs and roles in that gym that he needs to fulfill. He's a father figure to some of the younger guys in there. He's that unk figure to other guys in the gym. He's the big brother to a lot of us guys who are kind of like, we're near his generation, but he's still, he's still big bro to all of us. He fills all those positions. John Dotson's the type of guy who knows your schedule for the entire day better than you know it. And you're like, oh, I'm here to get in extra rounds. And John's like, no, you're not. You have to go do this interview, and then you have to go pick up your kids at this time.
Wow.
Like, he'll remember everything, every aspect of your day. And I'm like, John, how do you know this? How do you memorize all this? And his response is very simple. I care. That's the best way to describe John Dodson as a coach and as a team leader. He simply cares.
Yeah, obviously that speaks volumes, right? And I think so I'm from the Midwest, right? I'm in Chicago right now, and I was out in New Mexico calling the show. So when I show up to these new towns and I'm learning about new teams and stuff, so take New Mexico, obviously I'm going to know a lot of the people, right? Like, as far as names go. but it takes a minute for me to get the vibe, you know, from a team or like what everybody's about, right? And I just remember at the weigh-ins, I very quickly caught on talking to you and to talk to some of the younger guys from your team, how closely knit, you know, the Dodson guys were. Like I said, he was one of the first people I saw when I walked into the weigh-ins. Why? Because he was all over you guys, right? And he was making sure that everybody was taken care of. So obviously, that's gonna, the proof is gonna be in the pudding, and we're seeing in the level of, you know, not just, it goes so much farther than the cage, right? Obviously, the performances are awesome, but seeing you guys smile when you talk about your team, I think that means a lot, you know.
I agree 100%. Like, you don't get that a lot. You get people who are like, yeah, I'm happy to be training here. These dudes are killers. Everyone in this room's a dog. But I'm like, okay, but what's his kid's birthday? Like, y'all ain't close like that. Y'all train together. We're a family.
And speaking of families, brother, so we're talking about somebody like John Dodson, who's able to keep track of everyone's family and his own, and he's always got a smile on his face. You're not, you know, as far as I know, you're a family man as well, bro. You got 4 kids, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 4 kids, 4 absolutely stunning children with my beautiful wife at home, Melissa. You know, we were high school sweethearts, made our way, you know, through this crazy world together. And she's a real one. She's a trooper because she did not sign on for the fight life at all. She was like, you were a musical theater guy. What are you doing fist fighting in cages for money in your underwear right now? Like, what is going on?
Bro, tell me. Okay, more. I want to hear more about how the choir musical theater boy is now a prize fighter.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, to even get started in cage fighting, it was simply, you know, back in 2013, 2014, I was like 22 at the time. And I was like, man, I've been talking a lot of shit lately. I should make sure I can back this up. I really should make sure I should back this up. Because, you know, this backward fools are still ready to fight. You know, the people ain't ready to squabble up anymore. But back then, people were like, hey, what'd you say about me? You don't have to answer that. So I was like, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to train. I'm going to learn. I'm going to just learn enough that I won't get my ass whooped in front of my wife. Like, that was my whole goal starting MMA.
And when do you decide, like, oh shit, maybe I can compete? Because that's a big bridge to gap between I'm gonna get in shape and learn to take care of my girlfriend, wife, to I'm gonna take an amateur fight and get in my underwear in front of all these people, like you said.
The biggest jump was my very first coach randomly was like, hey, Jalin, you want to fight? And he said it in front of everyone in the room. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a bitch. Like, if all that was going through my head. So I was like, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'll fight. I'll fight anybody. I don't care. I'd only been training for like a month. And they were like, hey, you want to fight somebody? And his name was, I actually recently saw him during my weight cut for this last fight up at the gym, Martin Arlone. And he was a guy training out of Jackson's and had already won a couple grappling competitions. And I was still at that point where I avoided even going to wrestling and jiu-jitsu classes because I was like, nah, I just want to learn how to high kick somebody and call it a day. So then they said, hey, we got you this fight. And I was like, oh shit, they were for real. Oh, they meant it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dude, man, that's fucking great. So, and then, so when you realize, okay, I guess I'm a cage fighter now. Were you able to keep both personas up for a while? Were you at any point fighting and doing musical theater and singing at the same time, or after did you abandon one for the other?
I essentially abandoned all like musical theater, like, you know, going to see shows and stuff like that when I first got ready to make the big leap over. Because I was musical theater and concert choir, you know, show tunes guy all throughout high school, throughout college. And then I was like, yeah, well, you know what? Like, do I want to put in the effort to fully pursue this and put myself out there on like an acting front? Or do I want to keep going and fist fighting people in a cage for money? And for some reason in the back of my head, I was like, I think it'd be easier to fist fight somebody than to make it in the acting world. So,
That's hilarious.
so I randomly was like, yeah, let's commit.
I would have thought getting like APFC gold or UFC gold seemed easier than getting a Tony, but here we are, right? Bro, like honestly, all right, nobody watches this. We could talk.
Yeah.
But I, I was a musical theater choir dork, like I was all in, all through high school, and it started. So I'll tell you real quick because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's kind of a dumb story. My freshman year of wrestling, I remember we finished one of the wrestling practices, and one of the seniors that I like followed around, were like leaving practice, and he's like, "Come on!" And I was like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, We're going to play practice or play auditions or musical auditions." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And he's like, "We go to an all-boys school. This is your only chance to meet girls. We're going to auditions." And I was like, I mean, and like fast forward like an hour, and I'm over there like, "What's the buzz? Tell me." Like, dude, I was all, bro. It's like it's all it took. It's all it took. I was like headgear hanging from the side of the backpack. I'm spirit fingers and shit. I didn't care. I was like, all right, I'm in. And you know what though? I will say this, like, God is, try figuring out God's plan. But like, I always think about it, like doing theater all those years, eventually becoming a fighter, and then fast forward to now I'm doing broadcasting. I think it all kind of like fell together perfectly for me. So you never quite know where any of this stuff's going to go. I mean, look at you. I mean, standing in front of a stage doing a show tune versus standing underneath the bright lights fighting for APFC gold. I mean, one lends itself to the other, right?
Exactly. They're so like for like. That's one thing that all the dance musical numbers, the solos and stuff, that is nerve wracking when you're up there and that spotlight is on you. And then you step into that cage and you're like, damn, this is nerve wracking. That spotlight is on me, but this feels familiar. So all I need to do is go out there and perform. That's all I'm about to do is put on a performance. And it really it takes me to a different place. That's how I'm able to hit my walkouts the way that I hit my walkouts. I'm like, we're just performing. We're just having a good time.
Bro, I almost didn't bring up your walkout. Bro, your walkout. All right, so let's talk about that real quick. You're sharing the card with people like Gable Steveson. For better or for worse, you share the car with Wing C. So there's a big walkouts that are gonna happen this night. And when my man walked out to Keisha Cole and you and Dodson start hitting the roll, bro, that place went absolutely nuts. You knew that was gonna happen? You knew that was gonna happen?
No. I wasn't even going to do that move. I wasn't even going to do it. Me and Dodson didn't talk about that. Nothing. I just got done high-fiving all these people. I'm getting amped. I'm feeling myself. And I was like, you know what? To hell with this. If I'm feeling myself, I'm feeling myself, and just jumped out into it. I had no clue he was doing it behind me until after I saw the footage.
Perfect. Y'all look like Jabberwockies in perfect formation. I couldn't believe my eyes. The whole place goes crazy. I'm trying to talk on the microphone, but I'm over there. Never knew. And I'm like, dude, it was unbelievable. What a moment, bro. So you walk out, you set the place on absolute fire. It turns into karaoke night at the Isleta. And then you get it together, bro. And like, it's just like, I don't know. I think you're a unique person that you don't necessarily, it takes a unique type of fighter to not always have to play the mean, angry, tough guy, I'm gonna rip your head off.
Seems exhausting.
It is, I think, for some people that may be it, right? For others, it's not. But to see you go out there and be genuine and clearly being yourself, it's refreshing, it's exciting. It set the place on fire with good reason, man. And that's gonna be one to remember. A lot of us are still humming that shit, dude. We can't.
Let's go.
So, bro, you caught the eye of the LFA early on. You caught the eye of the APFC. You go out there, you snatch the belt. You call for Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby on UFC Fight Pass. let's continue to manifest some destiny. Let's talk about 2026 and how it's going to be the year of the gentleman. Let's go.
Let's go. Yes, 100%. 2026 is about to be my year. They know who I am, and they can't claim that they don't know who I am anymore. I feel like we're a short notice call, our short notice opportunity away from the UFC. I feel like we're just a regular call to the PFL at the start of next year, at the start of the next quarter. So when they put out I think they put out their first 4 cards where they're going to be having those. I feel like we're right there. We're waiting. I have an amazing management team, so I'm just trusting in them. I'm like, you know what I want. You know my family. You know the right call for me and my family. So when you all see something that is worth bringing me in on, bring me in on it, and I'll be ready to play ball if we need to play ball. But in the meantime, my strength and conditioning coach, Luke at Rough Rider Barbell, he was like, hey, let's get back in the gym because you've only got 3 options. You have a title defense up next. You have a short notice call up, or you have a PFL call up. He's like, that's the only things you're really preparing for right now. So we need to keep that 5-round cardio ready. We need to keep you in shape. We need to keep the weight managed because I will not get caught lacking on an opportunity.
Yeah, you said it yourself, preparation meeting that opportunity, and sounds like you can do everything you need to do to be prepared. Brother, this has been amazing. I really, really appreciate your time, bro. Like I said before we went live, I can obviously, this is obviously my own thing. I'm blessed that I got access to a lot of high-level guys, fighters that I look up to, fighters I've been, admiring for a while. I've been watching your career for a minute now, and I felt like we vibed that way in. So I'm glad you're able to make some time so you could kind of delve into the gentleman a little bit more. My man, any final thoughts, shout outs, and how can everyone stay up to speed on all things the gentleman Fuller?
Well, first and foremost, huge shout out to APFC for the platform and opportunity. Big shout out to real MMA media who's still getting it done, such as yourself. The guys who are like, no, I want to get to know the real guy. I don't want to just get the clickbait moments. Because without those guys, without you all, we cannot get our name out there the way that we really need to get our name out there. MMA is kind of turning into too much flash and spectacle, and we're losing a lot of substance. So I am very, very happy that we still have guys like you who are able to do a real genuine interview. So that's huge for me. To my team, Nobody's Villain, strength and conditioning at Rough Rider Barbell Club under Luke. United Fit, where they host us, Nobody Villain Boys at. I am so appreciative to all of you. You guys can keep up with me on Instagram at Jalin_the gentleman. I have a TikTok. I do not use it. I am a doom scroller on TikTok. So you cannot catch me on there. But if you put something funny, you'll see a like from me for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, bro. This has been awesome. You did not disappoint, my man. Like I said, I thought you were an instant cat. I wanted to find out a little bit more about you. Aside from the walkout, we made it very clear you're a lover, but you're also a fighter, so don't get any ideas.
Right.
Manly knows how to get it done. Don't test this, man. Fight fans against him. Speed on all things Jalin Fuller by taking a look at his Instagram. Again, champ, congratulations, the APFC Welterweight Champion of the World. Jalin Fuller, we'll talk to you soon, my bro. Thank you.
Thank you.